my name's Katie. Welcome to my shed. Today I am prepping for some marketing material for one of our workshops later in the year. So we're running a workshop on creative health and well-being and sort of having fun and finding the joy in being creative. So we've both just completed courses on using therapeutic art techniques. So a lot of that is things like mood boards and diet journaling and things like that. But actually I wanted to, for the purpose of the marketing material, I want something quite expressive and free, because that's the sort of activity we'll be doing as part of the wellbeing workshop. And so I am going to do a couple of pieces, one which will be a sort of a mixed media piece of work using watercolours, brusho, pen, you know, a bit of everything. And I'm going to base that on a landscape that I painted a while back, which is one from Lackford Lakes. The reason I'm using that is just because I sometimes struggle with thinking of an idea off the top of my head and thinking of a place. So I'm going to do that. And then the other thing I'm going to do is use a technique that I've seen a lot of people doing, which is where you lay things on a piece of paper. So things like leaves and flowers and maybe some bits of fabric, and then you drop ink and watercolour on top of it and then wait for it to dry, and then you take it off and you end up with some really interesting marks, which you can then work over the top of or leave them as they are. So that's the plan for today. So it's going to be a strange one, quite experimental. I've no idea how things are going to turn out. So yeah, let's have a go. Okay, so I'm just going to make the page really wet, and then I'll show you actually the image I'm using. That's super wet. This is the painting I'm using for inspiration, by the way. It's an image of Lackford Lakes in Suffolk. That was done in acrylic. This is going to keep falling over. I'm just going to use some tissue paper and I'll lighten the areas that I want lighter. Just by lifting off some of the ink and colour. So I was using the hairdryer to blow the ink and paint around. I'm just going to go in with a little bit more of these colours because I've watered them down a bit too much and I want a little bit of oomph and a little bit of vibrancy. Okay, so now I want to pop a little bit of ink. I've got I've got a few different makes, but this one is acrylic ink, as is this one. This one's pearlescent, and I've got these watercolour pearlescent paints that I might try some of those. just to pop some, I like the sort of drawn line on, and I would like something in the background here to represent the tree line. I've got some soft pastels because this isn't quite wet enough for my watercolour pencils, and I don't want to re-wet it. Now soft pastels will go, you can mix them with water, it just makes your pastel a bit gummy, but I've got a problem with this swirl up here, so I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to use some more pastel, but they're not the right colours. Spots here, these are mainly inscribes, but some sort of the harder soft pastels. I don't think any of those are the right colour. But that's okay, because we're not meant to be worrying about colour too much, are we? I'm going to knock out that swirl. I was not a fan of that. Take that over to here. That's there. And lastly, I've got some white acrylic ink, which doesn't normally do work, but I'm going to put some up the top here. I can open it. I lied, I'm not going to leave it to dry. I've just found some old ink that I was using for some screen printing. And it's gone a bit sort of globby and disgusting because I was waiting for it to dry. But I'm going to use this to drag it across and make some different marks. So this is the first one. It's, do you know what? When I first did it, I was like, that is hideous. But actually there's bits in it that I really like. And I can see how it developed from that original painting. I'll get the other one, I'll bring that in. So this one was the original painting, which was fairly abstracted anyway. And then we've got this one over the top, sort of after it. I actually quite like it. I probably won't go up on my living room wall, but that's not what doing these courses and doing these pieces of art is about. It's about letting loose, letting your hair down. That sounds really cheesy, you know, just going with making marks and not worrying about what the end goal is. I'm not thinking about trying to create a picture that you want to hang on your wall. It's just about releasing yourself. That sounds really bad. I just had to edit myself out because everything I say sounds like an innuendo. No, so what I was trying to say is, I'm not trying, when you're doing these sorts of exercises, the whole point of it is not about creating something that's going to go on your wall. It's about just releasing energy, releasing it to the universe, letting yourself go, and sort of clearing your mind, so that then we do exercises afterwards to help with imagery and manifestation, those sorts of things. So that's what this first exercise is about. But I do also really like it. I really like the colours. Some of it's a bit messy, but I really like this area and the shapes, so I'm quite happy with that. And the next thing I'm going to do is the one with the inks and the bits of plant and things. This is the selection of goodies that I've got. I've got a few bits of honesty, I've got a little bit of lavender, some sort of crusty bits of lavender. I've got some little bits of euphorbia, some leaves, some old honesty leaves probably from last year, some forget-me-nots. I've actually got a few more bits of that dried lavender here in the bin. I might use that. So I'm going to place it out, then just drop the inks on it. And I don't think, obviously I feel like the dried things will soak up the ink, so we might get some more interesting marks. Fresh leaves, I'm not sure what will happen. So let's lay it out and see how we go. Okay, so I'm just going to lay these things out in sort of semi-random order and see what happens. Some of the bits, obviously some of it doesn't touch the paper, so that's why I'm just splitting them so that it does then touch. I love these honesty. The euphorbia, I don't think will do anything because it's a bit too fresh. And then I've got these, you know, I don't know what the proper name is, like rabbit ear ones. I think that will create some really interesting marks. Let's put these over here. This could turn out, I mean it probably will turn into a hot mess, but okay, it's out there. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so ink wise I've got a mixture of makes. My favourites actually are the De La Rowney ones. I think the pigments are better in these, and they just work better. I've got 5 different colours of those. Indigo, I've got a couple of metallic ones which I used in that other painting, and then I've got these ones which are, I don't actually know who they're made by, West Design Magic Colours. I don't like these ones as much, but there are some quite interesting and vibrant colours. I'm going to apologise now, my ring light stopped working. I've been on it a little while, but I've obviously twisted it too many times. And then I've got a Liquitex one which is a raw umber. That one probably be quite handy for this, although yeah, this one's more of a red. So I need to decide on my colour set. I don't want to go too crazy, I don't think. What I don't know is whether I should have wet the paper first. Don't want to get this wet, but just a bit more spray. It does seem to be getting things to move a little bit more. It's definitely a crime scene. I mean, this looks so bad. I just don't know what to do with it. I'm just wondering if I need to put some paper or tissue paper over the top of it and like press it down. Because a lot of this isn't touching, is it? Let's have a look at that and see what happens if I do that. Maybe if I get some newsprint. Oh, I could get another piece of watercolour paper actually. Okay, I'm going to put another piece of watercolour paper on top of it and then weigh it down with some bits of wood or something, and then I'm just going to leave it and we'll come back to it later. Not sure this is a technique that I'll be doing again. Let's put some boards on just to weigh it down, and you know, I'll use my X-cut as well. Right, I'm not sure this is going to work. I'm going to leave that like that for a few hours and come back and see what happens. Okay, let's have a look. I'm not really sure if I'm excited or not. It's still wet. Doesn't surprise me. So that's that one. Do you think I'll leave it for longer? Let's take them off. Come on. Let's get the bin. I'm going to get mucky. I've got to work tomorrow. I really should be in a job where I don't need to have clean hands, shouldn't I? Because I never have clean hands. I mean, it's just a hot mess, isn't it? Okay, let's put this back on. Back on with the board. And the weight. Yeah, this is going to take quite a few more hours, and we don't have a few more hours, so I'm going to tidy up my inks and I'm going to leave this to marinate, for want of a better word. I won't be back in now for about 3 days, so we'll leave it to do its thing for a couple of days and then we'll have a look at it on Thursday. Good morning, it's Thursday and I haven't got much time to hang out in the shed today, but I did want to come and remove this and see what's going on underneath it. I'm a bit nervous. It was so messy before. Right, let's lower you down. Are you as excited as me? I suspect not. Okay, that is so heavy, that press. Right, let's see what's going on. Grab the wood out of the way. Okay, it's like printmaking, isn't it? Really, but always stacked. I mean, that looks horrific, doesn't it? Let's get off these leaves and see what's going on. I'll probably speed this section up because I don't think you need to see me peeling bits of plant off of paper. let's peel this off. There are, I don't know if you can see from there are bits of it that aren't horrific. I mean, there's a lot of it that is horrific, but it's been days, but the paper is still a little bit damp. Right, let me just bring you out. Let's see what we've got here. There are a few nice marks. The Honesty did okay. I'm not sure whether it might have melted into the ink and be there. And some of these marks from the lavender and this leaf here has come out quite nicely. Some of it is quite interesting. Some of it is very, very ugly. And then on this page, we've just got a few splodges really. So believe it or not, the paper is still a bit damp on the back. So I'm not going to work onto it now. I'm going to leave it to dry properly. And then I'll come back, and then on Saturday, I'll come in and then we'll work over the top of it. And the idea is that we'll then do some mixed media over the top and make a decision about what we can do with it. I mean, it's not my kind of vibe really, but it is good to play with these techniques, isn't it? Is it? Yeah. Oh goodness me, what's gone on here? Good morning. It's Saturday. Look at the bags under my eyes. I'm so tired. I've been in London for the last few days teaching and helping to run a conference, and I just find it so draining. I'm not very sociable. I don't like busy places. I don't like talking to people much, and yet I still put myself in these positions where I have to talk to people and smile, and I think I'm struggling for it today because I'm just shattered. I need to go to bed and wear pyjamas, so I've gone for my most pyjama like clothes, and yeah, I'm hopefully not going to have a very stressful day. We've got our next art workshop is tomorrow, so that's fun, and I've got to get stuff prepped for that. So I have drawn on Procreate some birds. You will recognise these from the watercolours that I've done already. These are printed onto Bockingford watercolour paper, and we're going to use these as like a warm-up exercise, and so people can have a little play without worrying about trying to draw the birds, and then we'll progress on to people drawing out their own birds and then painting them. So that's those. And then one I accidentally printed on cartridge paper, which I'll take anyway. We need to get that set up this afternoon. But first, we're going to look at this painting. Oh, sorry, what mess is it? I've just got mess everywhere. We're going to look at this. I called it a painting. It's not a painting. This thing, and try and decide what to do next. I think I'm going to draw over it with ink, but maybe with a stick or something. And the bits that I like, we're going to try and bring out a bit more. So there's some marks around here, these leaves, these marks here, the Honesty, which has worked quite nicely. I'm not sure what we'll do about the rest, but I'm going to try and bring that out so we can see it. And we might have to call it a day with this idea, because it didn't work, did it? Let's face it. There's one leaf here which is quite nice, so maybe we'll see what we can do with that. Right, let's do this. Okay, I'm not going to tape it down because I don't envisage me spending too many hours on this. I've got a few of my favourite tools. The old skewer, I like using both ends of this. The pointy end for like drawing with, and then this end for dragging the ink around. I've got a paint spatula which needs a clean, and this blender, which I think they're meant for pastel work, and I have used them for pastel work, but actually they're quite good for dragging ink and paint around. And then I've gone for two darks. I've gone for the magic colour, and this one's like a dark purple. I don't think it will be as dark as I'm hoping. So I've also got a Daler pearlescent black, shiny black. So we'll see how we go. And my idea is I want to make around this darker so that the areas that have worked stand out more. So let's start with this leaf here, and then we'll just do a bit of drawing around with the ink and then drag it about a bit, maybe with the end of the skewer. It's probably not moving as much as I'd like, and some of that's due to the fact the paper's sort of cockled up. And actually it probably draws better just out the end of the pipette. I also want to darken around here. Go around a bit. Don't forget, we're not trying here to create some sort of image that, I don't know, this is more about playing and experimenting and just, yeah, seeing what happens really. Don't want to go over these marks too much, I quite like those. Use the this blender. See how that moves it around. See, that pulls it right back, but you can get some interesting marks with it, and it's quite good here for sort of layering the colours, because it goes a bit more transparent because you're pulling more of the ink off and spreading it a bit more. I don't want it too tidy though, so I might also use this to scratch in. See what happens with that. Do you know what might work quite nicely here? It's that awful brusho stuff. Let's get that out. Look. The white one of those. I could just use a soft pastel actually, but let's, if I can get the lid off it. Oh my goodness. What did I do with this the other day? My traumatic brain has made it. I mean, we're not going to use the brusho if I can't get the lid off, are we? Okay. Just use a little bit and see what happens. If you remember, the white didn't really do a whole lot from that video we did last week. Just felt like I was putting talcum powder on my picture. Yeah, it doesn't absorb in the same way that the others do. I reckon a soft white pastel would probably, let's grab one. Chalk. I have got chalk, but it's underneath everything else. I'm just going to use, I think it's pink actually, this light pink. I don't know what make this is. It's, who knows. I'm going to try and draw and see what happens. Because you can, with the soft pastels, go over where it does sort of melts in, but you can ruin the pastels sometimes, so you have to, don't use your best pastels. When I was showing you through my landscape work. I don't know if I think I might have taken it out because it was horrific, and that is what this is reminding me of. Something horrific. I probably shouldn't be doing explorative art when my brain is as tired and as mushy as it is after the last couple of days I've had, really, but or maybe that's the best time to do it. It's not, that one you can see on the purple is not really doing anything. It's quite a good colour to layer over because it is similar to some of these ink colours. So maybe if we work around the honesty with it and pull out some of these lines and exaggerate it a little bit. I'm not sure, this one might. No, that's, what we can do is add water to these and move that pastel around a little bit. So you can see here how it's sort of splodged it out. I hope you can see. Yep, you can see. And again, I'm going to use the back of this just to move it around. And then I'm going to draw some scratchy lines through that with this, because these are quite hard. I don't know that there's any I'm going to make this work in any way, but let's plod on. I feel like we're committed. We're going peacock feathery, aren't we? It's probably the colours. We've got the greens, which you can't see. Maybe that's the route we can take with it. We can draw it out into some sort of big feather. Let's do that. Let's face it, we're not going to be making it any worse, are we? I'm not very good on drawing from memory, but let's see what we can do. My sister has got a pair of peacock feathers on her back, not real ones. That'll be weird. She's not a bird, she's a human with a tattoo. So probably she'll be embarrassed to see like, oh, that's not what they look like. But this ink is so blobby. It's kind of grim, but also kind of fun. And I want to put some more green into that. Then, oh, should we go with some green brusho? Or do I never want to go near brusho again? No, we'll go with the green ink. Got two greens that would work. I've got this pearlescent one. I might add a bit of that in, and then this darker one. So let's put a few splodges of that in, don't want too much because she says when there's too much. And a little bit of this one. Did I tell you I've signed up for a new course on coaching, art coaching? So I've completed one and I thought actually I'll do another one and just get, I feel like the one I did was good, but I still have a lot to learn and another course would not hurt. So I've signed up for another course. Not sure what an art therapist would say about this. This needs to be darker, doesn't it? No, it doesn't, Katie, just stop. Hello, it's afternoon of Saturday now. The girls won their football match, so that was fab. And I'm going to, I've got the prep done for tomorrow's workshop, and I thought I would try and get this thing finished. So I'm just getting my white wash out. Before I cut it out, I thought I might just go, hang on, keep it that way around so you can see it. Try and white out some of these areas and see what that looks like before I commit to cutting it out. And I thought I'd use this. We'll see what happens. I could probably use acrylic, but we'll use some of this. See what happens. Right. How's your Saturday morning been? Did you get up to anything nice? Right, let's get rid of some of this. Just need to loosen it a bit. Just been cleaning through the stuff that we bought for my friend, and I found this mist spray, so I can get rid of the hairspray bottle that I've been using, because I've been using some Child's Balm. Works fine, but I might as well use something that is designed for purpose, seeing as we own it. I was going to mow the lawn this afternoon, but I'm not entirely sure if it might rain. You know, I'm holding out for the rain. Can you hear music? I feel like the neighbours are having a party or something. Right, let's put on fast forward. I think I need to stop now. It's I don't know what I've been doing, just faffing around, honestly. I am sure that it's good for some part of my brain doing this. In fact, I need to convince myself it is, because the course I'm doing is about doing this sort of expressive arts and how that affects your well-being and everything. And I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to tell you how it's affected my well-being. Okay, don't laugh. Ta-da! I mean, it's quite possibly the ugliest thing it's just awful. I thought that sort of blanking out the background might help, but it didn't, did it? So from a well-being point of view, it's quite liberating, isn't it? It's just sort of making marks and seeing what happens. But it's not very satisfying. because I've come out of it and think, oh my goodness, I spent a whole week just making a mess. There are some things I really like. I really like the resistance that you get because the inks are acrylic. So where I've used the acrylic inks, the water-based paints over the top, there's a resistance. So I really like this, and I'm sure there is something I can do with this in the future. I also like the matteness. I can move it and you can see, but you've got this sort of matte where the watercolour is and where the pastel is, and then you've got the shiny acrylic inks, and I like that. That is about it. I just wonder if you need to go into these things with a little bit more of an idea of what you want the outcome to be, or if you just need to keep playing and then see what happens, and then maybe I'll get better at it. But I'm not sure I'm going to rush into doing that one again. So I'm very sorry you had to sit through that. I mean, you haven't had to, you could have skipped on. You probably have skipped on. I'm going to head off and start my next course, maybe get a bit more of an understanding about how to do these sorts of activities, because I don't want to, you don't want to do sort of therapeutic art things and then come out with a scribble at the end, do you? You still want to come out and feel like you've achieved something, but that might be saying more about me than about everyone else. Oh my goodness me, I am so tired. My eyes look like I've been crying. I haven't. I am just very tired. My brain isn't cut out for socialising and going to London and doing things where I have to talk to people a lot. Congratulations if you have made it through this video of me making a mess and chatting. I mean, that's most weeks, isn't it? Shall I do something a bit more productive next week? What should we do? I'll have a think. Honestly, I have to keep stopping and starting the camera because I keep yawning and it's not a good look. Right, before I fall asleep in my shed and my husband comes out and finds me asleep under the desk, I'll say goodbye. Thank you very much. Have a lovely week and I'll see you soon.